texted him, so that's probably why.
I watched the law enforcement committee last week online.
Online.
I watched the law enforcement committee online last week.
Oh,
For the first time. There are a lot of people there.
yeah.
I think it's the.
Okay.
At least when I turned up. We didn't do it. Okay, we are ready. Board members ready? Okay. Good evening, everybody. We'll get started. I will call this meeting of the Waushara County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the hearing, we will conduct our monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decisions. Any other persons wishing to receive a copy of the decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for hearing each application is, after each application is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the board. Then all correspondence will be read, and others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the board's field observations and any staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone here at the podium, state their name and direct their comments to the board. Because of the number of applications that I am asking that all testimony be kept brief and to the point. The applicant will have 5 minutes to present information on their application other than questions from the committee. Anyone else wishing to speak should limit their testimony to 3 minutes, and any rebuttal by the applicant should also be limited to 3 minutes. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded, and the recording will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. This committee has looked at both of the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information on appeals is available from the Clerk of Court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. I'll now introduce the board. George Peterman, Dave Williams, Jess Irvin, John Shirk. I'm Kevin Fitzgerald, our zoning administrator, Todd Waller, and recording secretary is Becky. Our first variance tonight is Gerald Seck has made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-542 sub C sub 1 and 58-826 sub B of the Waushara County zoning code to construct a 20-foot by 24-foot detached garage 16 feet from the right of way, 30 feet required of South Silver Lake Road on the shoreline property in RS residential zone in the town of Marion. Location: a parcel of land known as Lot 13 of the Clearview subdivision, section 07 T18N R11E, town of Marion, Silver Lake, fire number W6998, South Silver Lake Road. Is the applicant or builder here?
I'm here. Yes. Evening.
State your name, please.
Gerald Seck.
Tell us what you want to do there.
So you kind of summarized it pretty well. I want to build a 20 by 24 garage. Tends to be a little close to the road. We did have a single car garage there before. But we demoed the property and the garage to build a new house on the same footprint that was there.
Got some questions for you?
Yes,
Has there been a recent survey?
there has been, yes, in the last year,
So we know where the road right of way is, correct?
yes.
Have you talked to the town about this?
Like town of Marion?
Yes.
I have not, no.
How would you deal with erosion and stormwater runoff?
Well, our plan is to put in a porous driveway, which would help alleviate that concern.
Gutters or?
Yeah, we have plan on putting gutters and downspouts on the garage, which would help.
If you have a foundation, you're gonna build it up.
Slab,
Any filling or grading to get it in there?
probably not, it's pretty level where it is.
How high is it gonna be, finished height, you know?
Same with the house, I would imagine.
Less than 18 feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it would
It
be.
does.
Any other improvements planned?
Well, the house would be done in about a month, and after that, we're hoping to build this garage.
Walkways,
Patios, yeah, we'll have a driveway in, a walkway on the east side of the house that access the deck in the back, correct?
all other setbacks gonna be met?
Yes.
Runs sanitary district sewer there,
Correct.
gonna have room for parking there?
It'll improve the parking a lot, we kind of use the front yard mostly for parking instead of having the grass there, would help.
Are you gonna be able to, you're gonna build a garage where you drive in and angle, so you don't have to
90-degree
back
angle.
onto the road?
That's correct.
Any other options that you could have done this different?
I mean, you could put it on the other side of the lots, but this way, it's approximately where the old garage was.
Hardships and unique property limitations which would support this.
I mean, I think it's a hardship not to have a garage, to be able to store, gas appliances and have somewhere to put your cars.
Hardship too, because town road is not where it's supposed to be.
I can't affect that.
Well, we've dealt with other ones that are. Town road is not centered.
And the right,
It very well could be. It's
from the
over 100 years ago.
1920s and the right of way is
Yeah.
far deficient from
Yeah.
what it should be.
Permits, you'll have to get a permit for. And if approval is granted, when would you start building?
We'd like to get it done right away after the frost is out. That's 2 months, April probably.
All the questions I have. George, you have anything?
Well, I know when you were on it, so the question was,
You're gonna make these.
sort of circulating was why the garage wasn't included in the original plan.
Are you saying like when we submitted the plans for the house?
Right. But
We should have.
So no one knew the answers like that.
I don't have an answer really, why, maybe we should have. It would have been the same process, so with the variance, I would suspect that, and just now,
Was the old garage separate from the house, not?
detached, correct? There's a limitation on the width of the property.
With mention of the board driveway. Well, first of all, I understand you're turning the garage so you're not backing onto the road, right? Were we in danger of impervious services percentage not being met?
So Mr. Sec has been working with land conservation, out in the front, or I should say out towards the lake, with regard to stormwater management practices there. One thing that will be required with any land use permit is, an impervious surface calc sheet. where they'll have to show all the improvements that are planned. They'll be calculated out, and then one thing that we would recommend is that he work very closely with land conservation people, so that we can make sure that we fall within the guidelines. He'll probably have to sign a mitigation affidavit, but typically, most people do get their points. 2 points for, no non-conforming structures, and then 2 points for code compliant pouts. In this instance, he's got sanitary. So.
I've got no further questions.
I just have a question on your driveway.
Yes,
It will be a impervious surface or,
correct.
okay.
That's a plan. I mean, that's what we want to do.
So where's the stormwater going? Comes off the garage.
Pervious surfaces are typically, and that engineered devices. So his engineer will have to submit plans showing that it'll permeate basically into the ground as if there was no driveway there.
Oh, all right, good enough. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Anything else?
No, good.
Okay, please have a seat and
Thank you.
you'll have a rebuttal if you need it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Correspondence.
I do have one letter of correspondence. It was an email that was received on February 9th from Danny and Christy Serenen at W6994 South Silver Lake Road, Watoma. It reads, "We are writing to formally oppose the variance request submitted by the owner, Daryl Frank Seck, of the property adjacent to our home at W6994 South Silver Lake Road for the addition of a garage. We were not notified or consulted by either the Waushara County Zoning Office or the neighboring property owner and learned of this request only through another resident, which is especially concerning given that our property would be the most directly impacted. Being informed by the neighboring property owner would have been a basic neighborly courtesy. The timing of this request is also troubling as the neighboring home is nearly complete and the owner had ample opportunity during the planning and construction process to design the residence in compliance with zoning regulations while accommodating a garage. Requesting a variance at this stage undermines the intent of zoning regulations and sets an inappropriate post-construction precedent. The proposed garage would have a disproportionate impact on our property by obstructing our currently unobstructed view of the roadway, representing a significant change from existing conditions and raising legitimate safety concerns due to reduced visibility of oncoming traffic, pedestrians, cyclists, and pets. Beyond safety, the loss of our roadway view would negatively affect the character, enjoyment, and value of our property. Parking in the area is already limited and the neighboring property is frequently rented. We have experienced reoccurring issues with renters, guests, and contractors parking directly on our driveway or in front of our property, including blocking our mailbox. Granting this variance would likely worsen these problems. For these reasons, including lack of notification, inappropriate timing, safety concerns, loss of roadway view, parking impacts, and the disproportionate effect of our property, we respectfully urge the city to deny the variance request. If you could, please confirm receipt of this email. We would appreciate it. Thank you for your time and consideration. In response to a couple of the concerns, I know I talked to Mrs. Serenen. We did mail out the notification to our mailing address, which is a North Aurora, Illinois address. And I did confirm that with our Register of Deeds and also the clerk's office. And then also I did respond to this email as requested.
Thank you. Any other correspondence?
That's it.
Anyone in favor may speak.
I have nobody registered to speak in favor, but I do have 4 individuals wishing to speak in opposition.
All right, call them one at a time.
Okay, the first, Christy Serenen.
You just read my letter, so I'm gonna pass.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next is Daniel Serenen, and Christy Serenen, registered to speak in opposition.
So just kind of on that, and what the gentleman said here, it's just suspicious why it's done so late.
State your name for the record, please.
Daniel Schraden.
Thank you.
So it's suspicious just coming that late, middle of February when it's just renters, or people just come up in the winter time and summertime, just occasionally. I don't know, I'm looking at a site plan of the drive. So if it is a curved drive like that, side, garage, just off-street parking is, you can't stack cars there. So street is very narrow. Where he wants to put the garage is a very large tree there that it's gonna get killed. If he can't tell us what the peak is gonna be, that's disturbing too, because he's got vaulted ceilings right now.
Okay, I have no questions. Any questions? Thank you.
Next, I have Eric, and I apologize, it's Anderson.
Yeah, I checked, I didn't want to speak, but if you want me.
Okay, registered to speak, or registered on the option sheet, come up.
All right, I'll speak as long as you.
You got this.
I don't.
State your name for the record, please.
My name is Eric Bronson. I am 2 doors down, but I own the land across the street. And I've lived there for 35 years, and in the 35 years, it used to be just a bunch of people that weren't rich that lived there. It was just normal working class people, and it's changed dramatically in the last 35 years. Never before have I had so many problems with people that rent. There's my house, there's Christie's house, there's his house, and then he Airbnbs that one, and there's another one. And because they rent them out for thousands and thousands of dollars, 8 people get together with 8 cars, and then they park in my yard, they park in my driveway. I've had people play basketball in my driveway, and I said, "Excuse me, oh, isn't this a park?" My wife started a free library, so we have a free library at 8/10 of an acre of land. So there are people playing. My wife goes, "What are those people doing in their backyard?" And I said, "I don't know." So I went over, I said, "Excuse me, who are you?" "We're renting down there." I don't know if it was the people that were renting his house or the other house, but the problem is there's 2 Airbnbs right there, and there's nowhere to park. So that's one problem. The other problem I have is I live there year round for the last 35 years, and people have bigger and bigger boats. And when you have cars on the road, I've had people say, "You get your fucking car out of the road." And I'm like, "That's not my car. I live here. My car is in my driveway." So when you get big pontoon boats and these big speed boats, the road is this big and they can't get through it, and they get mad at me for whatever reason that is. And the last thing that bothers me, and I don't know who does it, but I'm thinking some of the renters, is they catch fish and they feel obligated to throw their fish guts in my backyard. I mean, so I don't care. I'm not here to be mean or whatever. It's just that it's, I don't know. That's what happens. I wasn't gonna say it.
Thank you. Jeffrey Miles, speak in opposition.
State your name for the record, please.
I'm Jeff Myler. I own a cottage next door to Eric Bronson. And my daughter lives in the cottage right now, and I live further down the street. And the cottage has been in the family for over 100 years. Probably one of the few around there that the family just keeps going down. And I noticed that even with the construction that's going on over there, there's one trailer in the driveway right now, and they can only park 1 car in there. You got 2 cars always parked on the road constantly. We've had it where people have had to stop and wait for people to go through and call somebody to get somebody to come out and move a car. Big issue I have is I know this house was a lot smaller than what it was. And they built a walkout basement. So it's now 3 floors. So I would imagine it's probably 5 to 6 bedrooms. And that's going to be that many more people parking over there. And there's no room. There's absolutely no room whatsoever. Some of the things, my father, when he rebuilt his house, he wanted to do a walkout basement. And he was told no. Now all of a sudden, all these people have walkout basements. I went and I drove past the house today, and all the trees are gone, completely gone that are on the hill. There's nothing there to stop erosion whatsoever. I don't know how the DNR even approved of that. Because I've had it where you can't cut down any trees on your property on the hill because the DNR doesn't want you to cut down anything. But here you drive past there and it's all cleared out. He's got a wall. I feel sorry for Danny because he's got a fence over there along his lot line. If he didn't have a fence over there, it'd be danger zone. He's got a retaining wall that's probably, I don't know, 5 feet high. That's just open. So I definitely don't want to see a garage go up there because all it's going to do is cause more problems. If he doesn't put up a garage, then he'll have the room for all his people that he has for his Airbnb. But you don't have it now, and he's not going to have it after he puts a garage up. So that's how I feel about it. And like I said, we've lived on that property has been in our family for over 100 years. And I see the people with the Airbnbs just messing up everything. I know it's great for the community to have more people come into the area, but you know, there's a lot of people that, I mean, I retired up here because I came up here as a kid and I love this area, you know? And now you go around, and it's like every corner that you go around on Silver Lake, there's cars parked on the street. And I wish they would set up an ordinance that nobody could park on the side of the street, absolutely nobody, because that's what's gonna need to happen.
Thank you.
That's all I've got to say.
Anyone to speak for information only?
Nope.
Staff comments.
Okay, everyone should have a copy of the final staff report. Property in question is a smaller lake lot, part of the Clearview subdivision that was platted back in 1924. What's very typical that was back in the day and still evident as we observed out in the field, the homes in the area are very small cottages, or for the most part, smaller cottages that were built up towards the lake, and then smaller detached garages back near the roadway. As stated, the home has since been raised. The original home and detached garage have been raised. The county did issue a permit for a 36 by 37 single family dwelling, which was centered on the lot. The original home was actually skewed and encroaching upon side yards, encroaching upon the front yard. That has since been corrected with the construction of the new home. I'd like to point out, though, too, that the right of way directly out in front of the residence is far deficient in terms of meeting county minimums. County minimum right of way is typically 66 feet. The right of way directly out in front of the sex house is only 26 feet. As we saw too, the roadway out in front is far deficient in terms of meeting our minimum roadway widths. The applicants are now proposing construction of a 20 by 24 side loaded detached garage in front of the home near Silver Lake Road. Staff was unable to use adjacent structures for averaging. However, if you noticed on both sides within eyeshot of the residence, there are a number of garages, a lot of which have come before this board before, that also are far deficient in terms of meeting standards and have been granted variances. Based upon the measurements of the 5 structures that were taken within close proximity, you should have a map in your packet. The average setback was 27.3 feet. The proposed garage would fall within the average setback for those structures. Board of Adjustments visited the property on Monday, February 16th, and were generally supportive of the variance request. The board cited similar structures within close proximity, a few of which, like I said, have come before the board for similar variances. And given the character of the area and the orientation of the roadway, the structure should pose no detrimental impact upon public safety, nor have any adverse impact upon adjacent properties. Staff has reviewed this request and believes that the site and area are quite unique. The entire area is reminiscent of old Waushara County. Very narrow roadways, smaller, older cottages, and detached garages that are far deficient in terms of meeting current zoning setback requirements. While the board will be making a recommendation on this request later in the evening, staff is recommending approval of the variance to construct the 20 by 24 detached garage 16 feet from the right of way, subject to the conditions listed in your report.
Any questions of Todd? Any rebuttal needed? No rebuttal needed. We will go to our next variance. TJ's Construction LLC by Tammy Vandenberg, Rosendale, Wisconsin, had made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-512 sub A, sub 1, sub C, sub 2 of the Waushara County zoning code to reduce the minimum lot size to 6,456 square feet, lot 2, and 8,277 square feet, lot 1, 10,000 square feet required, and to reduce the side lot setback to 0 feet, 15 feet required for an existing duplex in RS 10 residential zone in the town of Marion. A parcel of land known as Lot 17 of the Two Oaks North subdivision, being part of the southeast 1/4, the northeast 1/4, section 18, T18N, R11E, town of Marion, West 6513 and West 6515, Woodhaven Circle. Would the applicant or agent please come forward and speak into the microphone? Please state your name.
Tammy Vandenberg.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm not super familiar how these work. I went with my husband to some a few zoning things, so I apologize. I wrote up a little letter. I don't know if you're used to that, but is that okay if I reread it? Okay. I'm Tammy Vandenberg. My husband Chad and I own TJ's Construction. He was the construction man. I was the bookkeeper, and I have a job as an educator. So he would have handled these kind of things, and now I'm left to do it. My husband's intention in developing this duplex on this property was to sell them as a 0 lot line property under separate legal entities. The structure was chosen for practical and legal clarity, not as a means to negatively impact neighboring properties or reduce surrounding home values at all, by any means. To the contrary, the goal has always been to create an attractive, well-maintained home that complement the character of the neighborhood and contribute positively to the area's overall appeal. I understand and respect that some neighbors have some concerns, and I truly appreciate their willingness to share them. It is our hope that you will see we are operating under the same covenants as when these people also purchased their land. Our intention is to be thoughtful and responsible, and we hope you will see that this will not negatively affect neighboring property values. My husband had listed the property as each side separately listed back in March of 2025, and I didn't come to any realization there was even an issue until after he passed. I feel it's important to emphasize that this project was never driven solely by a financial motivation. My husband believes strongly in responsible development and being an active contributing member of the community. In his short time here, he demonstrated that commitment through action, volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, supporting local youth by purchasing animals at the fair, Waushara Fair, and making donations to the local police department and food pantry. His record reflects a genuine desire to invest in and strengthen the community. The intent behind these duplexes is aligned with the same principle: thoughtful development that enhances the area, respects neighboring properties, and contributes to the long-term vitality of the community. In fact, when my daughter and son-in-law bought a house in this area, and that's how we got started here, I was the entrepreneur once, instead of him going, we should do this. And I told my husband, we need to be building here. This area is beautiful. This aspect, submitting site plans, building plans, zoning issues of the business was managed, again, by my husband mostly. So I learned of these things after his passing. In addition to his work in the development, I maintain a separate career as an educator. My role within the business was focused on, as I told you before. Since his passing, I have made a diligent effort to fully understand this matter and the issues surrounding it. I've consulted with appropriate professionals, carefully reviewed the applicable zoning ordinances, taken steps to educate myself on the relevant regulations and processes so that I may proceed responsibly and in full compliance. In working with our surveyor and asking the zoning officers, I was told condominium plat overlay would not work to create the separate entities. After giving my option what I needed to do then, one of the options was to apply for a variance, and that's what I'm doing in this case. I have submitted a site plan, our surveyor has, and a CSM in the process. We wish to put some closure to this issue so we're able to move forward. I ask you to consider, if you were sitting in my shoes, how you might proceed, granting his original intentions and wishes for this project. I have done the best I can and know how, and where I didn't know, I've tried to seek answers. I just had a thought in my head. I can't think of what I was gonna say now. I thank you for your time and consideration in doing so.
Thank you. I have some questions for you.
Yep.
Answer them best as you can. We know there's been a recent survey there.
Yep.
So we know where the lot lines are. Have you talked to the neighbors in town about this?
To be honest, I really don't know a lot of the neighbors.
Okay.
I just heard a few from the golf course owner who my husband was working with, that some were not happy that he was building there. And I'm sure when you're used to not having people around you and someone came in and started building, they're not gonna be happy. I can assure you that when the subdivision was made, right, these people bought what is this size, quarter-acre lot in here, that eventually something's going to happen in the subdivision. I mean, that was the original, right, intent, is to develop it. And I'm sure when nothing happened for a while and my husband came in, I'm sure that wasn't very pleasing to people who were used to not having someone there.
What are the hardships and unique property limitations which would support your request?
Okay, so this is where I'm not as educated, but the hardship, that's hard to describe, right? Because there was nothing there that prevented this building. The strict application of the current zoning. So back in the 90s, right, there was a special permit to overlay to put duplexes in, and then my husband obtained a conditional use permit back last January of 2025 on top of that to put his building. The duplex itself was permitted and already exists in compliance with the zoning standards. But I understand the issue is that it sits on one lot. I know there are other, I think it's lot 64, 65 over by Cree, Chipper's Hole, is that what that's called? Where something like this has already taken place, so that would set a precedence in this matter. I've been left unable to just kind of proceed with the project because originally we had them listed separate, and so now after his passing, when I found out there's an issue, I guess, that I've had to investigate how to move forward and understand it better.
When TJ's Construction took out the permit, did they realize that you can't split a duplex lot in Waushara County?
Well, the person I need to ask, right, isn't here, but I
That's
can
why-
guarantee you, I can guarantee you, almost 30 years into the field, I know my husband would have walked in, right? He wasn't the emailer and texter. He would have walked in and had that conversation with people, and the realtor was aware there was some process there. Again, he's not here to ask, but I know he dotted the i's and crossed the t's when he did projects. I mean, this wasn't the first rodeo, almost 30 years into the field. I'm sorry if I'm not more clear on that. There's just, I don't,
Because it's not in the code that you can split them here.
and I understand that. And again, there had to be, he went to just put a building right there, like he wanted to put that type of building there. His intention was to create separate entities. I know that, I cleaned them with them, but logistics behind that, I can't answer you.
Okay.
And I've done what I've been asked to do. I've paid to have this done. I'm trying to do the right thing to proceed forward.
Okay. Have a seat. If you need a rebuttal, we'll let you have it. Correspondence?
Yep, I've got a few here. The first is from John Dix. It was email that was sent to me on February 13th. Says, good afternoon, Todd. I wanted to address the Waushara County Board of Adjustments for a hearing scheduled for February 19th, 2026, pertaining to a variance request by Tammy Vanden, applicant to reduce the minimum lot size for an existing duplex in an RS10 zone. It is my opinion that ownership versus rental property value over time will increase more than if it were rented as a duplex, primarily due to pride of home ownership that benefits the neighboring homeowners and the subdivision. Upkeep, long and short-term maintenance, interior and exterior of the unit, and groundskeeping tasks as well. A higher assessed value will increase the tax base of the town of Marion and Waushara County. I support the request of the applicant. John J. Dix. Okay, sorry. I have another one here that was sent, an email that was sent on February 17th, along with a number of attachments. The attachments will be made part of the record. The attachments are pertaining to a letter of opposition. There's some legal cases and that are included as part of this. Once again, those will be made part of the record, but I would like to read the email. It says, Dear Mr. Waller and members of the Waushara County Board of Adjustments, we are respectfully submitting the attached letter of opposition in reference to the application for variance VAR 26001 submitted by Tammy Vandenberg, TJ's Construction LLC, for your review prior to the public hearing scheduled to take place on Thursday, February 19th, 2026 at 6 p.m. After careful review and examination of the applicant for variance, Waushara County Zoning and Land Conservation Variance Request Staff Report, Wisconsin State Statutes 59.694-7-3, Case Law Appeal number 02-1307 of the State of Wisconsin Court of Appeals, District 4. The applicant has not met all three standards, proving an unnecessary hardship exists. Although we express our sympathy for the applicant's loss of a loved one, as we have all experienced the loss of a loved one, the applicant has not met the burden of proof as defined by the above referenced state statute and case law that an unnecessary hardship exists, and therefore the application for variance should not be approved. To ensure this email was received in its entirety, all 5 attachments, I am respectfully requesting a response with acknowledgement of receipt, which I did contact Amber. We've been going back and forth in correspondence even before this, but a response was made. The last letter I have is from Tony Simmernos. It is an email that was sent to me on February 18th. Good afternoon, Todd. Kim and I would also like to convey our appreciation for your assistance to Amber concerning this matter. Kim and I have been out of the country for the last couple of weeks and have limited access to technology. I was unable to confirm to Amber that we would have approved our name to be added to this letter. Please consider this email and please have our names added or entered into the record that we too oppose the request for variance. We believe Amber and Mike have provided compelling information and evidence supporting the denial of this request. Provided in Amber's letter to the board, ownership of properties was included, so I will do the same here. These are the properties that Kim and I own jointly, or properties that Kim's owns with other family members. And then there's 11 addresses, 11 properties, excuse me. A lot of those and that are not on this property. I was unable to attend the meeting and look forward to knowing the board's decision in the next few days. Thank you again, Tony and Kim Semmernos.
That's listed, were those all in that subdivision?
Exactly.
Sounds like a
Let me see.
Subdivision.
I can tell you right here. It appears that they are part of the subdivision. Because they're block 1771. So yes, they probably are lots owned by these people in the subdivision.
Thank you. Anyone in favor may speak.
Yep, so I have 4 registrants. The first, Aaron Van Ruziek.
Yeah, I don't need to speak.
Speak in favor?
Yeah, sure. Aaron Van Arswick. I did not plan to speak, so I guess I'm not prepared, but I guess I just question what function difference this would make and why we cannot come to a conclusion here. The property would have, this would be better for the overall community because you'd have, as stated earlier in that email, you'd have two landowners, two people that take pride in the building. You have a rental or somebody that purchases this property as an investment, rents out both sides. The upkeep of the place is not gonna be that of an ownership, so.
Thank you.
Larry Goldke, to speak in favor.
Good evening. My name is Larry Goldke from the village in Ashcoro. I hadn't even seen Mrs. Vanderberg until tonight, but a mutual friend asked that I maybe help her in some way. I'm used to drowning in debt after the 2009 recession. And I know what it's like to lose a partner, although it was a business partner. My brother died 3 years ago. And banks do not like to do business during times when things can't be sold and when there's fewer people to contribute income to the project. Having this as a single piece of property, a bank would not make a loan to two different parties, one owning half of the duplex and the other one owning the other half. So it'd be a huge advantage to be able to have the duplex divided into two different pieces. And if there's some way that she could get help so that it would be more saleable, it would be wonderful. And I guess you guys are one of the first lines to give her some help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicholas Erickson, registered only in favor. Do you wish to speak? Okay. Kaylee Erickson to speak in favor.
Kaylee Erickson, I have one question before beginning. In the email that was read with all the properties that the people owned in the Two Oaks subdivision, that's not the right name. The list of properties that they own, do they have homes or are they vacant lots?
That I don't know. I did not go through that sheet, and verify if there's existing homes there or if they're vacant lots.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I stand before you today in support of my mom and the business my parents built from the ground up, TJ's Construction, the owner of the property in question. Our work in Waushara County has always been rooted in good intentions and a genuine commitment to the community. A brief history of how TJ's Construction began building in Watoma. I married a farmer, Nicholas Erickson, moved an hour away to Waushara County to be with him. And since 2023, our family has owned our place on the golf course, and we are proud to call this community home. My parents quickly recognized the beautiful place that Waushara County is to live and how the golf course offers an affordable and appealing alternative to lake house living. In the last 2 years, the 3 single-family homes, and now we have the duplex in discussion, that TJ's Construction has built here, have brought meaningful benefits to the county. High-quality construction increases surrounding property values. It strengthens the investment of existing residents' homes. And new homes also generate tax revenue, something empty lots can simply not do. Beyond that, more housing supports the local economy. When more families live here, they shop at our grocery stores, they fuel up at our gas stations, they dine at our restaurants, and they enjoy our recreational businesses. And they're visiting friends and relatives and then come do the same. My mom didn't know what I was going to say, but I was going to say that what many may not know is TJ's Construction has supported Waushara County in ways we really haven't publicized. And I've shared this not for recognition, but to show that we care about the place we live and work. In the past 2 years, my parents donated half a hog with processing for a canine fundraiser to the sheriff's office. We supported local 4-H and FFA youth by purchasing animals at the county fair and donated the meat to the food pantry. And Chad donated his time, a crane rental, and a 5-man crew to set roof trusses and sheet a home for Habitat for Humanity, serving Green Lake, Marquette, and Waushara counties. He also contributed to the American Legion Post 317 during their Poppy fundraiser. And for 28 years, we have always conducted business with integrity. And that same integrity is why we are here tonight. We are simply asking for approval to sell the residence as 2 separate units rather than one single duplex property. This has been the plan for the property from the very beginning. We also believe this approach will ensure that the property is better cared for, as selling it as 1 unit increases the likelihood of short-term rentals. This request is not unprecedented. Other duplex properties in Waushara County have already been approved with 2 separate owners. We are not asking for an exception. We are asking for the same approval that has been granted before. We do not know the full extent to the conversations my father may have had with Waushara County zoning and land conservation offices, but in his absence, we've had to piece together information ourselves and hire professionals, investing significant time, energy, and financial resources to be here tonight. And just once again, we respectfully ask for your approval to sell the duplex as 2 separate units. Something that has already been done in the county, and we believe that action aligns just with the already county precedent, and it also supports responsible property stewardship. So thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
That's all we have.
Anyone speak? Nope. For information. Staff comments.
Okay, everyone should have a copy of the final staff report. In the project history section, I tried to summarize as best I could in a short paragraph there in terms of the history. The original 2 Oaks subdivision was originally created in 1990. At that time, the county approved a zone change of approximately 106 acres to allow 82 residential lots in zoned RS10, a 9-hole golf course in an open space parks area, a 30-unit apartment complex in an RM multiple family area, and a pro shop, restaurant, and lounge in a CG commercial area. It should be noted that the apartment complex never came to fruition, and there were some changes also within the subdivision as it was amended to offer only 65 single-family residential lots. In May of 1995, the county approved a conditional use for 2 Oaks North, the 2 Oaks North subdivision, which was referenced, that's off of Cree, that consisted of 5 buildings, 10-unit duplex or 2-family developments. A couple of months later, in July of 1995, the county approved a conditional use, which was amended in part for the original 2 Oaks subdivision to allow 8 single-family homes, or excuse me, 8 2-family homes, duplexes on lots 10 through 17, the subject lot, Tammy Vandenberg's lot, being lot 17 along County Road F. These were to be developed as duplexes or 2-family homes. And then finally in 2001, that 2 Oaks North subdivision was ultimately rezoned to RM multiple family. I'd like to point out that RM does allow smaller lot subdivisions and duplexes that can be built on 0 lot lines. Tammy and I have had a number of meetings. Tammy's come in and we've looked at opportunities, every opportunity available to be able to get her to where her final goal was to split it. We looked at the possibility of rezone. However, given the fact that this is disjointed, that would be called spot zoning, which is not only highly discouraged, it also counters state statute. So that was kind of out the door. Then, you know, we had talked to her about reaching out to the neighbors to do very similar to what they did at 2 Oaks North and maybe look at rezoning lots 10 through 17 in an RM, develop a condominium documents and a condominium type development. Then we could go down to smaller lots. Apparently that never really, and that went anywhere. The applicant is not interested in renting out the units. apparently they do have interest to purchase at least one of the units. There will be no change to the lot, the building, or the subdivision. And outside of a line on a certified survey map, and the fact that the buildings will be owned by 2 individuals rather than one. The Board of Adjustments visited the property on Monday, February 16th, and were generally opposed to granting the requested variance. The board felt that this would establish a dangerous precedence by creating non-conforming lots for an existing conforming structure and existing conforming lot. The board also felt that the zoning and existing lot situation was well documented and known by the applicant prior to the purchase of the lot and construction of the home. The board cited the fact that this variance is based solely upon a financial hardship, which is not a standard and or justification in which to grant a variance. There were no other hardships that were technically met. While staff was originally amenable to the idea of individual ownership, we investigated possible options to afford this change, it has recently come to light that the units do not meet current building code requirements for duplexes with 0 lot lines at the separation wall. It should be pointed out that per the UDC code, there is a distinction between duplexes and duplexes on 0 lot lines. I confirmed this with the inspections that were performed by our building inspector and the plans that were submitted. The structure does not meet the duplex 0 lot line standards. Given the fact that the building fails to meet the minimum required building separation requirements for 0 lot line scenario, staff cannot support the variance. And while the board will be making a recommendation on this request and should consider also hardships, staff is recommending denial of the variance to reduce the minimum lot sizes as noted and to reduce the side lot setback to 0 feet, subject to the conditions listed within your report.
Thank you. Any questions of Todd? George, Dave, Jess?
I got a question.
Speak on the mic, please.
Sorry. You think I'd have this down.
Yeah, a county board member, you should know.
I know. The survey that we have included in the packet is from January of 26. Is there a survey done at the time of construction?
No, what you see before you is a proposed CSM. That was based upon our conversations. That would be the only way that legally they would be able to sell the units. But then we get into that 0 lot line, situation that I just talked about with the building codes.
But what I'm asking is if there's an existing original survey for the initial construction.
Yes, it's known as lot 17 within the Drew Oak subdivision.
So
Which basically based upon that CSM would be the outer periphery of that CSM.
So there was no split upon construction.
No, what you have before you is just a proposal.
Okay, thanks.
And when that was agreed upon, to put the duplexes in there, those were all named as RS10 at that time.
Correct. That was done years ago by the county board.
John?
Yes, Todd, for you. 2, 1 is county building inspector said it does not meet code.
Correct.
Okay.
Let me verify. Let me clarify. It meets the codes for a duplex. And what that means is there's fire separation on the walls and up the ceilings. For a 0 lot line, it has to have a joint foundation. It also has to have fire separation from the subfloor or the foundation all the way up through the attic and up to the roof deck. And this unit does not meet that.
That's incorrect. There's a partition.
Wait, she'll be able to do a rebuttal. Hang on.
The other question I have, just for clarity, and this follows the spot zonings, is not only highly discouraged, but it also counters state statute.
I'm sorry.
What counters state statute? So can we, if we were to approve this, Are we countering?
No, that's if you rezone it, if you were to rezone the property, we would have a spot zone situation.
Alright.
And spot zoning is highly discouraged and actually illegal. Yep.
Before, so, okay, that clarifies that, thank you.
If we would approve this, we would be approving two substandard lots according to county code. Is that correct? County code is 10,000 square feet for single family.
Correct. They would be
Resident.
substandard granted under a variance.
Anything else?
I want to make sure I heard it. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to learn. Was it the Board of Adjustments that went on there on Monday?
Correct. All of us.
All of us, Rob.
Okay, so there is a firewall that goes all the way up through the attic.
There's a difference between a firewall and a separation wall. The separation wall, in my understanding, and according to the building inspector, it's drywall, and that for smoke, and that to prevent smoke traveling from one to the other. Then there's firewall, and that does not meet the standards for a firewall.
Aaron, do
Okay.
you want it?
I thought OSB was fire rated, but.
No.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is the right time to ask it, but moving forward, all I'm asking is what do we need to do to make this happen? I guess, you know.
Any other question?
Can I come up?
Okay. We'll conclude our public hearing. We will go into our business meeting. Call order. Roll call, show the 5 of us here. I'll accept the motion for approval of the agenda. So second. Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. I'll accept the motion to approval of the minutes from our last meeting.
I'll make motion.
George?
I'll second.
John seconds. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. New business. Action on public hearings request. First one. Harold Sick. Fire number West 6998 South Silver Lake Road. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve that, Barry.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Jess Urban seconds. Now your reasons for the approval.
Possible approval reasons. An unnecessary hardship is present. The current code requirements would be unnecessarily burdensome and prevent the applicant from using the property for a permitted use because very few alternatives exist. The impacts of construction will be minimized by mitigation. A minimum relaxation of the code is being granted. A permitted use is not possible on this property without variance approval. And the lot predates zoning regulations and construction matches the lot and available area. The hardship or unreasonably burdensome limitations of setbacks is due to unique physical features or limitations of the property and not the circumstance of the applicant as follows. Very little or no buildable area exists. The lot depth is very shallow, steep slopes exist, and the overall lot size is small. The variance will not harm the public interest or neighboring land uses and damage the intent of the zoning code because visibility is good at the driveway location, traffic is light. Visibility will not be impaired by placement of the structure. Traffic is slow here. A turnaround is proposed, and the proposed use will not harm the public zoning code or neighboring land uses if conditions are followed. A literal enforcement of the zoning code would be unnecessarily burdensome, and the testimony in opposition has been considered, but no valid reasons could be found to deny. Therefore, the requested variance, if approved, the following conditions shall apply. The development must be in substantial compliance with the site plan and testimony provided at the public hearing. All other required setbacks must be complied with. A land use permit will be required prior to construction. All code requirements must be complied with. It is the responsibility of the builder and landowner to protect the neighboring lots, lake, and road during construction. Standard erosion control must be in place prior to construction starting. Prior to the issuance of a land use permit, the applicant shall submit a detailed impervious surface calculation sheet, clearly identifying the areas of all impervious surfaces. Should the total impervious surface area exceed 15%, mitigation will be required. Any future construction cannot occur without first obtaining a variance. The driveway shall meet all code specifications and shall provide suitable turnaround to prevent backing on the road. A uniform property address will be needed to be assigned once the permanent driveway location is established. The applicant will allow agents of Waushara County access to the property to ensure compliance with the terms of the decision, Waushara County codes, and state and federal laws. The landowner is responsible for determining lot lines and required setbacks, and the building shall not exceed maximum height of 18 feet. That's it.
Thank you, John. The board has heard John's reasons for his motion. And we had a second. We'll take a roll call vote. Jess?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
And I'm chairman votes yes. Approved for building with the garage. Good luck.
Thank you.
Second variance, TJ's Construction LLC. Fire number W6513 and W6515 Woodhaven Circle. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the request.
George has a motion to deny. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Urban seconds. Mr. Peterman, your reasons for your denial.
So unnecessary hardship is not present, and the code requirements are not unnecessarily burdensome and will not prevent the homeowner from using property for permitted use because the landowner has reasonable use already. The existing zoning and lot configuration was prior to the purchase of the lot and construction of the home. A self-imposed hardship cannot be grounds for an approval. The board does concur with some of the concerns expressed by looks like Michael Burt, Amber Burt were the primary authors of the letter we received, along with other homeowners that expressed concerns. And a loss of profit or inconvenience is not a hardship. The hardship is not due to unique physical features or limitations of the property and appear to be unique to the applicant. As follows, there are similar lots and duplexes in the immediate area. No code requirements are not unnecessarily burdensome and should be adhered to. No hardship is noted. A loss of profit is not a hardship, and the board is concerned by the proposed creation of two non-conforming lots. The variance will harm the public interest in neighboring land uses and damage the intent of the zoning code because the approval would set a precedent. This would make it's really a bad situation, but it would make the situation worse. The proposal appears to be based on financial reasons and for convenience to landlord only, and an approval would undermine the code. Excuse me. Therefore, if this is denied, if the variance is denied, the following conditions shall apply. The applicant shall pursue the sale of the unit to a single owner. And as always, the applicant will allow agents of Waushara County to access the property and ensures compliance with terms of the decision, Waushara County codes, and state and federal laws.
Up in number one, where you, on number 4, the board concurs with concerns expressed by. Did you list the building inspector and his relation to Todd that the firewall wasn't structural?
Yeah, I thought that was an area that was People have sent the letter, it's approved.
Would it be okay if I provided just attending residents, building inspector, and filed letters of opposition?
That's absolutely fine.
Thank you, George. You've heard the reasons for George's motion to deny. A yes vote is to deny. Mr. Urban? Mr. Williams?
Yeah.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes.
Mr. Sure?
Yes.
And the chairman votes yes. 5-0. Approval to deny. New business, minor changes,
We have none.
map interpretations,
There are none tonight.
any public hearings for us for next month?
We have none. Planning and zoning has to rezone a conditional use and text amendments next month.
Financial report and permits, we got that on
Yep.
Monday at the meeting.
Yep.
I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
John, second.
Also,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed to adjourn. Thank you for being here, gentlemen.